You're like fully yoked up, Julianna. Wah! I feel like when I'm wearing this vest, I like actually kind of know what I'm doing. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Runnah, and welcome back to your favorite local running community. I'm Julianna, coming to you in a fully yoked up version, fully locked and loaded version. We are here today in the year of our Lord Voldemort, year 2025. Here we are, and I am training for my 50-miler attempt, my first ever 50-miler attempt. And I am here today to show you and tell you what it's like training in a running vest. Seriously, for the first time ever. But before we get into that, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, smash those bad boys right there, please and thank you, so that way you can become part of your favorite local running community every week here on Runnah. And this week we're kind of doing like a take on Shoe Eating Monster. And I'm going to be just talking about what it's like running as like someone who looks like they know what they're doing when it comes to a trail race. Because many of you guys know I've run a few. I feel like I've run actually I've run 2 trail races. I've done a fair amount of trail running, but I've only run like 2 trail races as of right now and only 1 ultra. And I've never run one with a pack just because I've never felt like any of the races that I've run, either like road marathons or trail races that I've required this. But this dumb bitch is taking on a 50-miler in like, as of when I'm recording this, about 3 weeks, give or take. And I kind of reached the point where I was like, oh, and it's the Stone Cat Trail Festival, which is put on by the Trail Animals Run Club, or TARC as it's known around here. And I've never run any of the races. They come highly recommended from many of my friends. So I say, great, let's do it. And I wanted to take on the 50-mile attempt, like distance. And I did not realize how like tumultuous my summer was going to be, but hey, that's fine. We're here. The nice thing I feel like about these like 50-mile attempts and these other longer races, even like the 50K, is people call them attempts, which I like that because that way I don't feel so pressured, because there is like a lot of people who don't finish when it comes to those distances, because like 50K, 50 miles, 100K, 100 miles and beyond, it's a lot to push your body that far. And I think it's just like the general recognition from the trail and ultra community that like we're not all going to finish, I feel like is good. And giving someone just as much kudos for attempting a distance and completing a distance, I feel like is warranted and nice and welcoming and kind, and I like that. So we're going to be calling this Julianna's 50-mile trail ultra attempt. That's right. Attempt. So as part of that attempt, I am starting to run with a running vest, and I have it like fully locked and loaded with everything that I believe or similar that I will be carrying with me when I'm running the 50-mile ultra. It is 4 12.5-mile-ish loops of the same course. We will be hitting an aid station every 6 miles. So you hit the aid stations pretty regularly. I'm not opposed to like dropping things and picking up things. I am going to keep some stuff at the start/finish line that I can either like drop or pick up. But I'm keeping on me the things that I want to keep on me. So I have like my fueling, I have extra electrolytes. Like you go in here, we got some like I got some extra packets of electrolytes. I like to use either like the liquids, or I have like some gingins that I'm going to be eating, which are just like pretty much like sugar and ginger, which for me is fine. And I have like extra caffeine. I have some other different like hydration mixes, things like that. You know, we have that in there. We have our extra backup light, which also flashes colors, which was also a new addition to the Julianna running vest scenario. I've decided I like having the bottles on the front. So we have this here. I don't know. I have the 250 milliliter flasks. I don't know how people are running with the 500 milliliter flask, or like how Ben does the giant bottles in the front. Because I'm like, this thing is heavy. Like, this is an extra like 3 or 4 or 5 pounds on its own. I haven't weighed it, and I don't have a scale at home. So like, I don't know how much it weighs. That's why I've been keeping my phone. Plastic baggie for your phone. Always keep a plastic baggie for your phone. No one needs to be buying a new phone. You can prevent a lot of issues by just putting your phone in a plastic baggie. But I've been fully kidding myself out with all my stuff. We even have, what do we have? We have gloves. I have my snot rag. I have butt wipes. What else did I put in here? I can't remember. I have so many things that I was just like shoving in. Oh, that's the flask. Okay. That feels weird. That's like right where my boob is, but there's like a soft flask that's right there actually. But we are shoving shit in crevices here. Like we are shoving shit in crevices. I have all the backup stuff. I have my headlamp in the back too. What else is in here? Oh, sunglasses. There's sunglasses in here. I am a Swiss Army knife of a human. A Swiss Army knife of a human right now, and it's been a wild time. So I am running around on the streets of Falmouth just like I look like I'm going somewhere more epic than I actually am. But I count this as training, you know, because you have to get used to the pack. So let's talk about the things that I've experienced and learned so far, because this is not my first experience with a running pack. My first experience was actually when I was training for my very first marathon, and I bought like a cheap backpack with a hydration vest for my training, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be out there for a while. I need all the fluids and stuff, and the hydration pack is going to be the thing for me. And I filled up like the bladder in the back. I'm not going to be using the bladder. I'm not using the bladder. I am just strictly using, I was like, what's that thing at the bottom? That's my Noon tablets. I hated it. Long story short, like I put the bladder in the back. It was making a sloshing noise the entire time. Now, as a little bit more experienced person, I know how to prevent that. But you can do the same thing with the soft flasks too. You just kind of suck the air out of them. I had no idea what I was doing, and I absolutely hated it. Fast forward to about like 6 months ago, Ben gifted me his old running vest. This bad boy right here from Ultimate Direction, which has definitely seen better days. There are holes all over this thing, just like so many holes. But he gave me this for free just so I could test out wearing a vest. And I actually liked it. I did like this vest. The main problem I had with this vest was, one, some of the closures were broken and there's a lot of holes in it. And also the Ultimate Direction vests don't fit soft flasks, and you have to buy their weird hard flasks. And I hate those. I don't like them. And I said, no, I'm not getting another. I don't want, like, I like the vest, but this is not my calling in life. And so, as you do, as a Julianna, you go online and you see like, hey, what might be a good option for me? I do my research. And I figure out, okay, this is kind of the zone I wanted to be in. I was figuring like somewhere between like a 5 to 10 like liter pack, which that just tells you how much fluid or space you have in the back of your pack. And then I figured I wanted one that was going to have like the easy close system on the front. I don't really like the clips that much. I do like this kind of like bungee system that we have going on. And then I just kind of went from there and was surfing around the websites out there looking for reviews. All of the Solomon packs get really good reviews. Ben has a Solomon pack. Most people that I know who have Solomon packs, they really love them. And so I was like, okay, it's probably not a bad option to get a Solomon pack, it sounds like. I'm not seeking it out. But again, as you do as a Julianna, I went on like Mercari and eBay and Poshmark, and lo and behold, I found the Sensei Pro 10 pretty much unused for like $40. This retails around like $160, I think. Running vests are not cheap. They're not cheap. But hopefully this will last me a while. But I got this bad boy with shipping around like $40. So, which I think has been a good investment so far, you know. I have become a pack gal, you basic trail bitch, you know, as you do. And I feel like it was a good investment. It's got like just enough space, I feel like, for the stuff that I want to carry with me. Maybe a little bit too much space. I am like a woman of many items. I am a bag lady. So like if there is a spot in the vest to fill, I will fill it. As you can see from how we are kitted out right now, I don't have to have all these items on me. And again, I'm willing to drop things, but if I have a pocket, I'm going to put something in it. So that's just kind of how I operate as a human being at a baseline. I'm sure some of my other bag ladies out there are also like, I know what Julianna's talking about. Yeah, it's a problem sometimes. I went into this, was like, okay, this seems like a good option. I knew I wanted to get the soft flasks with like the little like thingies. That was also a journey too, because I didn't realize that these things pop up, and that's how you, and then you put them down and then they lock back in. I didn't realize that. So I was like sitting here like sucking on these little nubs. I'm like, why is there no liquid coming out? And then I accidentally pulled it up and I was like, oh, oh, okay. Again, this is my first, like, I'm not like experienced in trail running. I know what I like for road running. I know what I like for trail running, like so far. I literally, it's been like almost exactly a year since I even like agreed to go on like a baby trail per run with Ben. And now here I am traversing northern Massachusetts, northeastern Massachusetts, like right below New Hampshire, and traversing the woods, running as a trail bitch that I guess I am. So it's definitely been a learning process for me. And like the thing that I know for sure 100% about this 50-miler attempt is that I'm going to learn a lot of things. I'm going to learn a lot of things when it comes to like preferences for gear. Is this actually a good vest for me? Or were those the correct shoe and gear choices? And so many other things like nutrition, hydration. I know I'm going to learn a lot of things from this first 50-miler. This is not going to be like Julianna's like debut into greatness. This is going to be like Julianna writes a long note on her iPhone because she learned so many things and has so many notes for the next 50-miler attempt she's going to take on. It will be a learning experience at a baseline for me, just as like trying this pack on has definitely been. And also like with the pack too, it's the first time I've like seriously purchased a nice headlamp. I have a Phoenix headlamp. I tested it out when we had the Cape Cod Marathon weekend because I was getting up at like 4 a.m. to go running before I was on the mic from like 7 to 3-ish approximately, and which was so much fun. And go back and watch that recap if you haven't. But I got to test that out, which was great. This is a good like backup light for sure. But I really like this one as like, this is like $10 on Amazon. Like a signaling light, like the mode that I just showed you it in, where it's got like the red, blue flashing thing. Like this is really nice to on top of the headlamp. And you can clip this bad boy like anywhere. So if I want it on the side over here, I can do that. So that way when I'm running, it's like going to be towards the traffic. Or whatever side that I'm running in. It's definitely been a learning process for sure. When it comes to the vest, the things that I've learned. One, I understand why Ben is so sweaty all the time. This thing, oh my God. When I went running the first time in this vest, holy crapola, I came back and I was it was one of the warmer days here before it got kind of cold. But I was like sopping with sweat, like just so much like stank ass happening from all like the sweat that gathers like right here underneath. Like this one breathes pretty well, but it is just an extra layer on top of you that like you're wearing. So it definitely it's so sweaty, and I understand. I'm kind of in a zone where I'm like, is the vest also a microcosm of the need for more hydration? That is my like existential question right now. I'm like, I'm carrying more hydration than I would if I wasn't having the vest on, but I'm also sweating more while I'm wearing the vest. So am I hitting a net zero? So if I don't wear the vest, but I bring like a handheld and I'm able to like not sweat as much because I'm not like trapping the heat from my body underneath the vest on the back and the front, is that like a net zero equation? Handheld plus regular shirt equals sweating, equals the amount of sweating with the double fisting in the vest with the hydration plus the vest and sweating in the vest. Is the sweat, like, do we hit a net zero there? That is my question. I don't know. Lots of sweating happening that I didn't account for. So like again, like the need for this, I understand. I understand why Ben is a sweaty boy now. So that makes a lot of sense. Also, this definitely like throws your center of balance off a little bit. Like this one fits really well, and you can adjust the kind of like matrix system that we have going on here, and it comes off and you can like, woo, yeah, and adjust it. But definitely it feels different. I don't mind like the little like hug you kind of get from the vest. Like that's not a problem for me. But you definitely also have to take into account the fact that it is heavier, especially when it's like fully loaded. My lower back has definitely been bothering me a little bit. Ben did make the point that originally I didn't have the light jacket that in here, so this was bouncing a lot more. I have a light jacket that's kind of filling up a lot of the top part right there so things don't bounce around. But like it was bouncing, so I had to account for that. So if your stuff on the back is bouncing, it might give you a little bit more lower back pain than not. But for me, it has actually, I feel like, helped me lean forward a little bit, which for me is a good thing because when I get tired, I start doing this. So if I can just like forward a little bit, I think that's a nice time. Also, the chafing situation. Definitely accounting for chafing. This is also why I'm wearing this vest ahead of time, so that way I can figure out like what spots I'm chafing in, as kind of anticipated by me. Usually this is what happens with any kind of thing that like comes over like my collarbone, because I have like a pretty like pervasive clavicle, and I'm sure you probably never heard those words together in the same sentence. Well, you're welcome. Thank you so much. This part right here, rubbing on my clavicle, definitely is a chafing point. I haven't noticed anything else, but I'm definitely going to be putting some KT tape, like 2 strips right here, so that way I don't do any chafing, hopefully. There, we'll see if anything else happens. I'm going to put KT tape in my drop bag just in case. I want to tape something up if I start chafing, which would be great, and Vaseline as well, too. So that will be part of the equation for sure. But definitely the other part of the equation for like the anti-chafing, besides the KT tape, the Vaseline, and just like being aware of things, is going to be a merino wool underlayer. Not only does that kind of like wick away some of the sweat and take away some of the moisture, so it's like put down a lower level of chafing probability, but it just helps a lot. I really enjoy having a merino underlayer, and I had accounted for that. I am going to make a trip to LL Bean, the LL Bean outlet, very shortly, so that way I have some, see if I can find some like t-shirt options for merino wool. And I always get the 100% merino wool. I don't get the 50 or 80, whatever it is. 100%. And I love the LL Bean stuff. I love the LL Bean stuff. I have noticed, like, when I'm wearing like a tech shirt like this versus the merino wool, a lot more chafing. A lot more chafing in like this type of shirt. A lot less venting, and I get a lot more like sweaty. So merino wool is going to be a nice time. But overall, I feel like when I'm running around on the streets and like on the trails, I look more like I know what I'm doing than I actually do. I feel like people are like, wow, there's Julie, because people know who I am in town, like, you know, for the most part. They're like, wow, look at Julianna. She's a trail runner. I'm like, no. Like, I'm trying. And like, I'm going to try. Like, everyone knows I'm going to give like a good effort, and I'm going to give everything that I have. This is why I'm like training with the vest on and stuff now too. This is why we like did our research. We got the vest. We got everything ready. I'm getting ready as I can be in like a 4-week lead into a 50 miler, essentially, that had a bunch of like, we had the Cape Cod Marathon weekend. And thank you to everyone who came and ran with us and volunteered with us and was part of the whole weekend. It went great. Our most successful weekend ever, which is awesome. Thank you. If you were there in any capacity, or you were just cheering from far away, thank you, thank you, thank you. But like, that was pretty much my whole day, and I was just exhausted. Because anyone who was there knows that I do the social media for the Cape Cod Marathon, and I'm very active on it because I want the runners to feel like cared for and loved and supported and appreciated and ready. And a lot of them did, which is great. I did my job. And also, I announced the finish line for the whole day on Saturday and Sunday, and also helped at the expo. And also, I sang the national anthem this year, which is a lot of fun. So, and also like the social media job is not a job that ends when I go home. So like, I announced the finish line pretty much from like 7:30 to like 3:30 on Sunday, and then went home and answered Instagram DMs and story reposts and posts and other things for about 2.5 hours afterwards. So I crashed at like 6 p.m. and I had gotten up at like 4 a.m. to go for a run, which the headlamp worked great for. So that was great. I was happy about that. I was like, woo, yeah, headlamp. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. I feel like I look like I know what I'm doing more than I actually know what I'm doing, but I'm trying, okay? Yeah, great. I'm sure there are other people out there who also are just like, yeah, Julianna, I feel like I'm also faking it till I make it too, and honestly, same. Same. If anyone wants like running shoe advice, like generally speaking, I can point you in the right direction. If you want advice on trail running, you're gonna have to ask Ben, you're gonna have to ask Chris Risco, you're gonna have to ask someone else, because I'm not an expert on this. I'm just trying to like enjoy things too. Oh, the last thing that I'm going to prepare before I go on this ultra marathon traversing trip through, where I'm going to be treppicing through the trees, is that I decided that I need more like dumb, silly things in my life. So if you're watching this, my request to you is going to be comment below your favorite fall themed dumb joke. If you're here and you want to do that, that'd be great. Because what I would like to do is I'd like to put at least one, like pin one like dumb joke to the back of my pack, So that way, if you're running behind me, you get to partake in a stupid joke. If I had a crew that was coming with me, I would have them switch it out once a lap, at least. But I'm pretty much, this is going to be a self-serving operation. So I don't have someone, and I can't, there's no way this is going to be something that I'm going to pin on the night before. I'm going to forget that's even there. And people will come up behind me. They'll be like, that's funny. And I'll be like, it is funny. And then that'll give me a little boost, you know, like I was running through the streets of Falmouth this morning, like wearing my giant pack, and some like little old lady that I didn't know waved and smiled at me and like gave me a thumbs up. And I was like, yeah. And like, that's like a little power up for me, you know? And I think that people laughing at my dumb joke will also be a power up. No, the best case scenario is that I'm in a low moment and like I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna finish this thing, and someone else is kind of in like a low/delirious moment, and like I'm also kind of in a low/delirious moment, and they come up behind me and this joke just like hits like just right for them, and they start laughing uncontrollably, and then I start laughing uncontrollably, and then we just have a nice time like tee-hee-heeing and like rolling on the floor and having a good time, and then we get back up and we finish this thing. So I think that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I think it's funny and that's the end. But I have a strong feeling that I'll have people behind me who are like, that's funny. But I have to get a good joke though. That's the thing. And I also decide, like, do I want to put one joke or two jokes on the back of my vest? I don't know. We haven't come to that conclusion yet. Stay tuned for Trail Julianna trespassing through the tenacious trees tiredly as that continues. How many T words can I say in a row? That's the real question here. But this has been my experience and my personal just like hot take on one, getting trail running ready, I guess, like ultra trail running ready for me specifically. And then also what it's like being a newer runner who's running a vest. Newer to running in a vest runner. Yeah. Not new to running runner, but new to trail running and running in a vest runner. If that makes any sense. But that'll leave us here, my friends. If you are so kind, would you please, and thank you, subscribe to the channel, like the video. And also, again, comment below your favorite dumb fall-themed joke. The stupider, the better. Give me these like dumb puns. I want the dumbest joke you can possibly think of. One that when you read it, you're like, you have to think to yourself, that was so dumb. And then you find yourself laughing for like 10, 15 minutes. Those are the jokes that I want. Please make them appropriate. I'm not putting any inappropriate jokes on the back of my pack. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting caught on photo with like some like ass joke. Or I mean, I could, but like, I just, in the spirit of keeping things kosher and light and silly and dumb, let's do some appropriate jokes, okay? Okay, great, cool. Glad we had this talk. But I will see you guys all very soon, and I hope you have a fabulous day, and I love you all very much, and just send some good vibes my way. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm everyone else's like top cheerleader, but I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to things, but we're trying. Vest. Everybody, vest. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for listening to this episode of Runnah. This podcast is edited, hosted, and produced by me, Julianna Coughlin. Brought to you in part by the Falmouth Running Club and the Falmouth Community TV station. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at RunnahPod. And you can send us an email at runnahpod@gmail.com. And our original theme music was brought to you by the one and the only wonderful Jeffrey Hutton. And keep up the great work. I'm proud of you.